Hi guys, welcome to my live stream of secret location live drawing session that I had a few weeks ago with a model and artist called Kinga. And basically I'm going to run through my techniques that I use to draw from imagination and memory, and I will be doing a grand finale which I filmed a few days ago on how I can create a drawing from memory and by using the imagination as well. So essentially, what you see here is basically how I start. I start by just getting bits of paper. I draw the model from life. I draw the subject many times in the space. I use graphite for 4B or 6B, and this enables me to really get a handle of the medium and who I'm working with. Being a model myself, I always feel the need to just watch how they move and get into certain situations, and I really like to see how they work, and that really makes me become more aware of how I work with the artists. So basically, in this drawing that I've done here, this took me no more than 2 minutes or so. I was just getting a handle of her shape and form, and I was asking her to change pose every few minutes so I can get the essence of what she looked like, essentially. And these are drawings that I've done in another class that I run in Holborn every few weeks. And basically I was using willow charcoal here, and essentially this was enabling me to really get a handle of the mass of the form. So the mass was very apparent, so I tried to make sure that I caught that, and I also applied this technique to when I did drawing of Kinga a few weeks ago. Here is another example of a work that I did on the day. Essentially, I was asking Kinga to basically get into poses whereby she was able to explore the space and get very comfortable within the space, and she was able to really get into sort of a pose that really showed off what she had to offer as being someone who is an accomplished artist in her own right, and she knows how to work with people to get what they want and to collaborate as well. So essentially, in this drawing, I was basically using graphite again and a bit of the pencil again, and just making some marks. It was all about the mark making with me, all about the mark making. These images are all about mass, so my whole idea is just to capture mass and volume and form. So essentially, how I approach volume and mass is that I like to basically start from the outside and work my way inside. So as you can see, I use the willow charcoal to just block out the outside of the form, and I was coming into the form. I was able to really understand that less is more. So I would squint my eyes and just mark in the negative space, and then slowly the figure began to emerge. It's quite an amazing exercise, and I think you should do it as well. You see? And I'm just using the side of the charcoal to just make the marks. You're using the side of the charcoal. Okay. Yeah. Here's another technique of what of how I approach mass and form. I use off-white paper, and this off-white paper really allows me to capture form and volume and mass, and it really enables me to capture the contours and really observe the form of the body. And as I was drawing Kinga in the short poses and the quick poses, I was able to get a handle of her sort of her build, because some people are very slim, some men are very slim, some women are very, very straight up and down, some men are very, very muscular. So it's always a good thing, I think, in my own opinion, to really observe the person and to not generalize the individual. So here is essentially some quick studies I was doing on the day. When I was drawing Kinga, I was just using the graphite to just get a handle of her form. I was just going around, just observing what makes her her, and this really helped me to really push the drawing further as the time went on. So I was just basically going over the marks, and just to be sure that I try to not focus on the extremities as such, but just try to get a handle of the volume. Okay, in this image, in this drawing, this is essentially, this is me taking an original drawing and really redoing the drawing again from memory and imagination, essentially. So I used the essence of Kinga to really apply, to really be applied in the drawing. And the fact that I spent as much time as I did with Kinga, I was able to build a language that was non-verbal, and she was able to understand the vision that I had in my head, and this enabled me to really understand the essence of the form. So I had about probably 5 to 10 minutes, and every time I was drawing her, as we came closer to the end of the session, I then realized that I was understanding her shape a lot more, and I became comfortable to really let her just explore what she can do in that short period of time. Okay, so now I'm going to take you to a study that I did a few days ago from memory and imagination. Here, essentially, I was basically taking an original drawing on the right hand side, and I was redoing it from memory and imagination. So essentially, I was just using what I've learnt to just create a drawing from scratch. As you can see, I've got the paper on my board. It's clipped onto the board, and I've got a big light on the side of my easel, because I sleep next to an easel, guys. Literally. I tend to, anytime I draw, if I'm not being asked to post for an art school or artist, I tend to like to do my own work. And it really helps me to really center myself and be in the present moment. So here I'm slowly creating with very, very few marks, you know. This was I think this was about 90 minutes into the session with Kinga, and I was getting the sense that she was very, very relaxed as well. It was really flowing, and she was really in the zone. And then it just happened. You know, stuff like this just happens. It can't be pre-planned. Things like this just happen on the day. So yeah, so this is when it's just amazing, because the angle is right. She's in. It was flowing. I did so many drawings up until this point. I think I must have done about 30 drawings before I started, or before we got to this point in the evening. I'm using this is probably a 4B graphite. I tend to draw very fast. I like to thank people like Maggie Hamlin. I've learned a lot from people like artists like her. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I've learned a lot from a lot of people. You know, and I've learned from many, many others. But I just like to just do. It's more of it just helps me to clarify myself. So as you can tell, the drone is very exaggerated. You know, I'm just thinking of, I'm closing my eyes, and I'm just thinking of what makes her her. So in my head, I broke it down. So, and I do that a lot. I find over the years, I tend to break things down into the complete essence. I'm like, okay, what makes this person who they are? Have they got a small features of the face? Are they quite slim? Do they have a angular shape to them? Are they very curvy? Are they robust? Men's the same thing. Is the man frail, strong, muscular? Can he has he got a hairy chest? Has he got a beard? Is he clean cut? Is he skinny? Is he? So all these things come into play. So right now, going back to the drawing, I'm just going back to sort out the features of the face, of the head, and I made sure I really exaggerated the thigh coming in front of you, because this pose, I think I was a bit lower down as well, and she was a bit high up, so I tried to make sure that I was aware of that happening. So me being a bit lower down in this pose, I was able to really exaggerate the foreshortening, so the thighs would be very big in front of you. I always get asked if I'm doing a long standing pose. I always get asked, do I do anything else? Well, now I'm traveling as well. I'll have to go to different countries and draw people. I've got a few places lined up. I'm going back to Marrakesh in a few weeks, and then in the autumn I'm going to Thailand, and then in January I'll probably go to Brazil again. But it's not been well, yeah, it's almost confirmed now. So going back to the drawing, I'm just adding in some small details. I tend to really focus on what makes the person who they are. I just want to say that I've got some very good internet here right now. My frames haven't dropped once. I'm getting a constant live stream speed of over 5,200 kbps, and we have been speaking for over, well, I've been speaking for over 16 minutes long, and that's a long time for me. And I'd like to say that I do watch, well, I get influenced by things and like manga, things like The Matrix, anime, and I tend to, and that bleeds into my work. People have called my work strange. Some people get very, very, very uncomfortable seeing my work up close. Very uncomfortable. Well, I'm almost done in the drawing. Almost done. I'd like to say thank you for the people who have watched this far. It's my sort of like first sort of live stream that I've done that has been able to really hold a good connection on YouTube. Please watch and share this if you can. I will be putting clips of this on other social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook as well. And I think I'm just about done here as well. See? So thank you for watching. My name is Matthew Gainey. I'm a self-taught artist, a traveller and a model. Okay? Please comment and subscribe or just watch. Peace.